lesson is the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula is a way to solve an equation for x when you're given quadratic. Right? So reminder, quadratic from when we graphed was ax squared plus bx plus c. And the x values we solve will solve for when this whole equation equals 0. So that's what this little equals 0 bit is for. Now, those are all letters there, but if we have, say, 3x squared plus 6x minus 5, right, 3 would be the a value, 6 would be the b value, and minus 5 would be the c value, and then we would plug them into the formula down here. So again, the formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of the quantity of b squared minus 4ac, all under the square root, all divided by 2a. Now, when dealing with this formula, we will plug it in and we'll simplify a little bit, and then that will be our solution. Right? There are two solutions to an x squared equation. That's why the plus or minus is there. So starting off, you'll notice the formula is on the top right corner for us. We got 3x squared minus 5 minus 4, right? So first step is to identify what a, b, and c are. And now to plug it in, right? So first we'll kind of write it out for you one more time. And then just writing this top out, now I'm going to kind of write right underneath, well, what is b? b is minus 5, so this is the opposite of minus 5, plus or minus. Then we got b squared, so this is going to be minus 5 squared under the square root. Minus 4 times a is 3 times c is minus 4. Now there's a lot of this we can do in our calculator. And again, this is over 2a. But I just wanted to show you kind of how plugging in for the top would work. So the bottom is 2a, and now we're just going to plug in 2, and then a is 3. Now we just need to simplify. Right? Some of this simplifying can be done in the calculator, specifically this portion right here. You can plug that into your calculator, right? This part right here, minus a negative 5, minus is literally opposite. Opposite of a minus 5 is a plus 5. So we got 5, plus or minus, square root, and now in our calculators, when we plug this in, 25, 48, and I'm getting 73, so just double checking in the calculator. And we did indeed get 73, all over 2 times 3, which is 6. Now I'm going to kind of shave off my extra space, and there is our two answers. This is technically x equals 5 plus or minus square root of 73. Technically these are in parentheses, all over 6, right? And that is our answer. Now normally we could try to break down a square root, but 73 will not break down. And at this point, this is all I'm looking for you to do. To plug in, and then specifically with this little bit, simplify it in your calculator. The other thing that people commonly mistake is they just give me 3, 5, and 4. If there's a minus sign in front, it is attached to that value. So b is minus 5, not 5. C is minus 4. Next example. And right away, same thing. A is 2. B is minus 9, C is 6, and now I'm plugging in. Right, negative b, well, b right away is minus 9, plus or minus square root of b squared, but I'm going to plug in. B squared is minus 9 squared. Minus 4, part of the formula, right? Kind of, if you can't tell where I'm going, I'm literally walking through this formula, right? Then a is 2. And c is 6. All over 2 times a is 2 again. And now we're just simplifying in our calculator. Right? Some of the simplifying you could do pretty easily on your own. Opposite of negative 9, positive 9. 2 times 2, 4. We got plus or minus in the square root. And now you plug it in. So again, negative 9 in parentheses squared. Minus 4 times 2 times 6, and I get 33. 33 is 3 times 11, It cannot break down any further, and so this is our final answer. Now, I would say I would like you to simplify in the specific case that we get a perfect square underneath that square root. We also learned this chapter how to simplify if it was square root of 32. So if we do run into one of those, we will simplify it further down. But otherwise, these first two examples are exactly what you're doing. Figure out what A, B, C is, plug them into their appropriate spots, and simplify. Next, 2x squared minus 5 plus 7. Right, label your ABCs, and go ahead and set it up. Let's say pause the video and try to see how far you can set it up on your own. Continuing, minus negative 5 plus or minus square root negative 5 squared minus 4 times A is 2 times C is 7 over 2 times 2. One other note is if we didn't have a 2x squared, if it was a x squared, right, if there's no number in front, we assume it's 1. And now this is calculator work, 5 plus or minus square root calculator work. And we get negative 31. Okay? So that's generally not good news, but we're just going to leave it like this. And there's our solution. We haven't run into negative square roots yet, so we're just going to call that all right for now. In some situations, we would say there's no real solution. But we're just going to call it that for now. Plug it in, simplify, call it good. Next one. 4, 6, negative 1. And you're going opposite of 6, plus or minus. Square root of 6 squared minus 4 times negative 1. All over 2 times 4. And plug it in. Right, opposite of 6, 2 times 4 is 8, plus or minus. Calculator work. Give me 52. Now, this is an acceptable answer because it's not going to simplify well. However, just a reminder that 52 square root, right, you would see it's 2 times 26, 2 times 13. We'd circle the match. One of those comes out, so this technically equals that as well. So we could have also written negative 6 plus or minus 2 square root of 13 over 8. Both of those are all right answers. Next, another one, try it on your own. And there's our filled in, right? B is 4, positive. C is minus 7. I don't see a number there, so A is 1. When we fill it in, we've got opposite of 4, plus or minus, 16 plus 14 is going to give you 30, over 2. Square root of 30 is simplified. And there's our answer. Again, one more double check. And again, 30. If you have any questions, please ask. Last question, 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. A is 2, B is 5, C is 3. And I have a feeling that this one's going to simplify a little more. So minus B is 5. Plus or minus square root of 5 for B squared minus 4 times A is 2, C is 3, over 2 times A is 2. Simplify. Right, the quick ones right there. Calculator, 5 squared minus 4 times 2 times 3 gives us 1. Now what is the square root of 1? Perfect square alert. So this is negative 5 plus or minus 1 over 4. And now you can actually find out what the actual two answers are. So normally we've kind of been boxing these. But this means, just to give you kind of some information, negative 5 plus 1 over 4 gives you negative 4 over 4 is minus 1. So minus 1 is one answer. And now I have to do the same thing with the minus. Negative 5 minus 1 over 4 gives us negative 6 over 4. which would be negative 3 over 2 when you simplify it. So there's our two different answers for x from this equation, right? Most of the time they haven't looked nice. Those aren't too shabby. And that wraps up today's lesson. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to email me.